Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Today we're going to do a very quick walkthrough on just the basic overall surface of the default Manjaro setup. So what we're going to do is I have Manjaro set up on a VirtualBox. The only thing that I've done to the system is I ran the update. So I installed it onto a VirtualBox. That took me about 10-15 minutes. And then I ran the system updates. That took about a half an hour. And I familiarized myself with where things were at so I could quickly find items. But I've left everything as the defaults, from the startup screen to the wallpapers, to the size of everything, the basic setups. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to walk through, talk a little bit about the Manjaro distro as we configure it and kind of make it our own, kind of develop our, add our, customize our themes, customize our wallpapers. I'll show you how to do all that. So if this is a distro that you think you might want to use, then you can get a really quick overview about how to get everything set up. And we should hopefully walk through several of the main distro features. Now, before we jump into this too far, Manjaro is a desktop setup for running Arch Linux, which is a more advanced Linux platform. And this is an area I'm essentially out of my element. I know how to work the XFCE desktop, and since we're going to be working pretty much exclusively in the desktop environment here, I shouldn't run into any snags. However, the terminal commands are different. I usually stay in the Debian and the Ubuntu families. Manjaro is an Arch family, and it uses a completely different set of terminal commands that I actually don't know. So that should give you a little bit of inspired hope. This is a great distro. It's just not necessarily for the person that is making the first switch from another operating system into Linux, but I want to show you what is available. So without any further ado, we are going to switch over here. So I have set this up on the VirtualBox. Great news, out of the box, it already has guest editions installed. So I did not have to mess with guest editions. I just went down there, set it to full screen, and we were ready to go. So when you first start this up, you will get this, this welcome screen, and it has a lot of useful information. The wiki is about information, release info, readmes, forums, chat rooms. This is called the Manjaro welcome, so if you are looking for this screen, you can actually search for it inside of the menu, and you can turn this on. It is set to turn on every time you turn the computer on. If I do not want to do that, I'm just going to uncheck the show box and close it. So now we are left with our desktop. The initial desktop, although the Windows setup is a little bit neat, I don't know, it just seems to me it's a little hard to read. I'm thinking my first initial thought is maybe it's not necessarily set up for an HD monitor like I have here. The icons are a little hard, a little hard to read, a little small. I don't like that this home icon digs kind of back into the background there. That's the default. And I think my panel here is a little bit small. I know some people struggle with the smaller panels. So we're going to increase the icon sizes, adjust the panel sizes, pretty much make this distro our own. Now, this is running the XFCE desktop, which is more of a lightweight desktop. So if we looked at the system resources on this, we'd probably see that it is not running with a lot of system resources. Real quickly, we are defaulting with a home folder, file folder. We have our trash. Our panel has our menu. Our Windows Meta key pulls up the panel, the menu, no problem. That's another thing I did is I changed the size of the panel. I thought it was slightly smaller than I liked. It was about like this, I think. That's a good thing about XFCE is you can just grab the corner of this panel if you're running this desktop environment, and you can increase the size however you like it to be. I kind of like this size here. That's pretty nice. We also have down here on the panel, we have a Show Desktop. This is the Show Desktop version that minimizes all windows. So this is my preferred Show Desktop. We do have two workspaces which we can switch between by scrolling the mouse wheel over. Let me actually open something here so you can see that that is switching easier. And then we have over here some items in a system tray. So you right click all these various items here. In this case here, one of the good things about the Arch system is you can adjust the kernel. So you can come up here and actually specify which kernel you would like to use. It will recommend for you the recommended one. So you can see here that I'm on 4.4.38-1, which is the recommended, the long-term stable. It is running and it is installed. And so you can kind of see what the various options are, and you can install the various kernels. So that makes it quite easy to adjust all of your kernel settings. We also have our network options there. So I'm on a wired connection here. So just because of the nature of being on VirtualBox, we have our volume over here, which is a simple up-down scroller. I did not check any MP3s or anything on this. And then let's see, that's system updates. We are up to date. Our battery indicator is full. We have a clock. And on XFCE over here, we have a logout button, which gives us the options to log out, restart, shut down, suspend, or hibernate, or, of course, cancel. And you can choose one of those that anytime you push this button over here, you do that. This is something on my, I run XFCE on my Ubuntu banking computer, and that's something that always kind of frustrates me. I'm so used to shooting down to the corner, clicking the button, and showing all screens. In this case, I shoot down there, and I end up shutting down the computer. Whoops. So what we're going to do here is just look at these settings real quick. Well, actually, let's start by looking at the programs, the default programs that are installed. So it gives us the favorites to start, which are the commands that we have used the most, or in this case, which are the defaults, the terminal, the file manager, we have a web browser, email, and a software remover. We also have the option for whatever is recently used. We can look at all programs installed at once, or there are the categories. So here's your accessories. I'm not sure why an HP device manager is installed. That's a little odd. I have not added or removed any programs to this. In fact, hey, there's a manager here, so it looks like it's using only 11% of the memory, which is this VirtualBox is running 4 gigabytes, I believe. So you can see it's actually very, very light on the system resources. So that's good. Under development, here we have just 4 items there. Education, we have LibreOffice Math. Steam comes pre-installed under the games. We have GIMP, LibreOffice Draw, and a image viewer under graphics. Internet gives us some SSH browsers. We have Firefox, HexChat, Pigeon. Steam is also under Internet, and we have our Thunderbird. We have an audio mixer, a music player, pulse audio volume control, VLC, and we have XF burn for CD DVD burns. So let me look at what the pulse audio volume control does. Okay, so this is actually not too bad of a platform there. Under Office, we have the full LibreOffice. Here's a dictionary, which I haven't looked at that before. There's a calendar. We have under settings, you can look at the individual setting items, or if you do happen to need the settings, you can access all of the settings at the top of the menu up here. So here's your system. You can add, remove software. There's gparted, print settings. Here's your Manjaro welcome screen if you want to see that again. It'll load that back up. All right. So up here at the top of the panel, we have our settings option. We have another a lock screen setting. We have a switch user setting. And we have a logout setting. The logout setting here will be the same as the one in the corner. It will give us the option to shut down, restart, log out, etc. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start walking through the system here. And looking at the settings, there are several different things that you can do to personalize the computer. And this is really one of the things I like most about the Linux system is you can really customize most Linux systems out there. There's some examples. Ubuntu is hard to customize. But you can customize the computer as much that you like. I know in the Windows world, starting around Windows Vista, it became harder and harder to customize it. I'm not sure you really can customize the modern Windows computers much anymore, but we can do anything from changing what the icon buttons look like for the close and minimize and maximize windows. We can change the basic overall colors. So here's our color themes. So there's a lot of different options that you have. You'll see that it will adjust the bar and the windows. And so you can just hunt around and find something that you like. I kind of liked, this one's actually pretty nice, going with more of an open theme. It's not super flat, but it's not outrageously not flat either. Let's go ahead and just stick with that for a little bit. For your icons, you can choose the various types of icons that you want for the system. And this is a nice system in that when you click over the icons, then just clicking on it, you don't have to hit any save or apply. Now, I kind of like the GNOME icons. Let me show you real quick let's just do recently used here. So you can see what these icons look like. And if I change to your high contrast, these are what I get. I kind of like the GNOME icons. These ones did not change. They were supposed to have changed there. It's very possible I just need to, I just needed to come over here and re-click the button there. So you can see here that the icons changed. I kind of like these icons a little bit better than I like the flat ones. So like the main theme icons here. These are actually kind of flat, and I don't know, I just don't like those flat colorations. It's a matter of personal preference for sure. I just like that Linux gives you the options, and actually you can come in here and probably customize the icons even more than that as well. You can change your system fonts, fonts sizes, things like that. So you could do something like this, which is extremely hard to read. Let's see if I can get that back. Let's just change the so that's kind of change that one around. Let's go back to, let's see how I can do that. So there's just a lot of different font systems you can use. You'll get the preview down here. Deja Vu Sans is actually not too bad of a font. Let's look at that. It's a little bit light, but maybe let's bump it up a little bit. But here you can just see how you can adjust all your various font sizes, other settings. And then show here under the toolbar styles, show images on buttons, show images on menus. These are things like the image items over here, and if you get a button here like your close button and your all settings will have little images. If I take these off, you'll see that that's what that does, is that it'll get rid of those. And I kind of like those. I'm still not really happy with this font. It's just a little bright. There you go. That's a little easier to see. So there's just some basic colorations under your desktop. Here they give you a lot of really nice wallpapers. Anything from some just kind of like some pixelated images, just some more just a lot of different neat items here. So you can just kind of come down here and pick out. This one's pretty cool. Of course, there's the ripping on the Windows thing there. I don't like a Windows kind of look for my Makulu Linux, but I'm not sure I want that on my Manjaro. So here, there's just, you can look at the various desktop wallpapers and pick something out that resonates with you. That's pretty cool there. Let's in fact stick with this one. Okay. Now the other thing that you can do here is on your menus. If you right click on the desktop, you get the nice menus showing up. So that you have some options here. So include applications menu. So that's this menu down here. And this will allow you to access any application from your right click menu. So you can, if you turn this off, then you will not see the icons in there. You'll just see the lists. Or you can disable it entirely so it will no longer appear. And then here, show the window lists on the middle click. So if you middle click the desktop, you can see here we can add workspaces. We can move things between the different workspaces. And then here's your icons. You can determine which icons are on your desktop or not. So we'll go ahead and turn on removables. I like to do the removables. And that's kind of your desktop settings. Under your file manager, you can actually dig through some of these items here, but you can single click to open items or double click. So if you're really used to the KDE type system and you want to turn on single click, you can actually come over here, turn on single click, and then a single click will open things up. It looked like that might be... I did still need to double click that. Maybe I had the wrong button. I know it's in here somewhere where you can enable that single click versus double click. So your notifications is nice. You can test your notifications. There's actually themes for your notifications. You can go with your kind of nice little notification preview here. You can change the opacity of it. There's actually some themes here, so you can do those. The smoke is pretty cool. The retro's a little weird, and this one's flat out scary. Okay. But you can change those. You can change the default notification location there. So I like that top left will work well for me. And then one of the things that I thought was a little limiting is that there were not a whole lot of applications that gave you the option, but you do have the do not disturb option set up that you can run. Now your panel down here, your panel that you can come down here and just change your sizes. So if you come over to your panel, you can actually adjust the size of it. Like this. So if you do want your panel a little bit bigger, it's just a nice little slider here. And then the number of rows, this will stack panels on top of each other. If you are used to running a lot of rows, you can do that. And then you can run it short or full width. And then you can also run it on the axis as well. You can automatically hide the panel or never hide the panel. And then down here, you can actually adjust your transparency of the panel as well. Or you can use a background image or a solid color. So this guy here, you can see what we have. The whisker menu is our main menu over here. Actually, that's a little too light. Let me go up to, let me try 75. Oh, nah, not size. I was looking for alpha 75. Whoops. Should have been under appearance. That's good for the size. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so here you can adjust, you can add various items. You can see the clock is on here, action buttons. You can also right click on the panel and under panel you can add new items. So this is where you might add a launcher. So if you add a launcher, it will add to the very most right side. So if you come over here now and you, we're still editing the panel. We have to leave the panel edits. Okay, so if I leave the panel edits, now I should be able to right click this guy and, is it right click or left click? Oh, it's right click. Go up to the properties, and then over here I can click the add, and then I can just find a program that I'd like to add. So we'll do this. Now what I found with the launcher is you can add multiple programs, but they will actually stack with an arrow rather than go across, at least as far as I've seen so far. So what I did is I just add a different launcher for each one, each item that I would like to do. So we're going to delete that off of there. We're going to close this, and then clicking it once will open up the program. But if I'm going to right click it and select move, now I can choose where it's going to go. I did not have that much trouble moving it last time I was running my settings. For some reason, it's not wanting to move on me. It might be that I'm hitting the VirtualBox stuff down at the bottom. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I was trying to get it to the other side of the. There it goes. That's where I wanted it to be. So that way I can run my little panel down here, my quick launcher over here with my most used applications, and then my applications here, just kind of getting it set up the way I like it set up. And that's all your preferred. Your preferred applications will give you the defaults. We have file manager, terminal, your web browser, and your mail there. Now your window manager, this is the place where you can make adjustments to your items here. So just remembering the one I'm on, there's just all sorts of different things. Old school, new school. Here's this is a nice kind of Mac looking one. There's all sorts of neat stuff you can do. Anything from things that just look very modern to things that look pretty old. So you can kind of choose which options that you like. And there's so many different ones to choose from here. So I kind of like this one here. This one's pretty nice to me. And then here you can adjust your title font. I think that the font looks pretty good, except it's pretty small. So I'm just going to increase the size of the font a little bit there. And then we can align the title where we want them to be. And then here you can control your button layout. So this guy here is your context menu button. Then we have your minimize, your maximize, and your close. So we have the options to do all that. Here is your keyboard shortcuts for your Windows Manager, and then over here you can choose to focus when you follow the mouse or when you click on it. And then let's see under your advanced, you can do some window snapping. I was trying to find the spot. I thought it was here where I could also adjust the transparency of windows. There's Window Manager tweaks. Let's look at that. So as you can see, you could actually spend quite a bit of time in just customizing the system as you like. In fact, I know there's even more because one of the things I was playing with earlier is just changing your focus when you had multiple other windows open. You could change the transparency of your windows. And that's a function, again, of the XFCE desktop. That's always allowed you to do that. Let me just see if I can find that other stuff there real quick. It's another file manager, is it? It's in here somewhere. I was actually playing with it earlier today because I really liked the way that you could do that. I'm just not sure why I'm not finding it now, but basically it allowed you to change the transparency of windows. So if you had two windows open, you could see. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Let me open up another window. Okay, so here the transparency of windows would allow you to make adjustments. So the inactive windows we can make less transparent, and then we can adjust the transparency as we move windows around as well. So you can do this kind of adjustment here. So there's a little bit about how we can kind of make the system our own. Down in the hardware, we can see that we have the options for the display settings, power management, removable drives. So you can set to automatically mount drives. You can set to automatically burn CDs or DVDs. So pretty much anything you can do here, including if you still happen to have an old Palm Pilot or a Pocket PC, you can sync those up. Here's some print commands if it detects a printer being plugged in. So there's a lot of different configuration options that we have here. Down here we have the startup windows. We have a firewall. We have a settings manager for Manjaro itself. So this is where we can adjust our language settings, user accounts, date and time, our kernel settings, hardware, things like that. The MIME type editor, of course, is where you can adjust how your individual file types are handled. And then we have a settings editor here as well for a little bit more advanced features. Now, one of the difficulties that I found in here is kind of like the same criticism I had with OpenSUSE seems to apply, where our software manager, we have more like a semantics package manager rather than a nice GUI software center. So that it makes it a lot more difficult to search for something. So you pretty much have to know what it is you're looking for to find something in here. There are groups where you can identify things in groups and various repositories and whatnot. But overall, that is one of the reasons why Manjaro is not necessarily for the most basic user. I know a lot of people say it is. It's very nice, very clean system. Seems very stable, and it's extraordinarily responsive, especially being that I'm recording an HD video on a virtual box while I'm on here, and this thing's running really, really well. So I think it's a great system. I'm not sure if I'd use it for a beginner, just because there may be some complexities if you do need to access terminal commands and things. I'm not sure if the help level is quite as high as it is, for example, in the Ubuntu world. But it is, overall, it is a very nice system if you're looking for something for a small computer. In fact, I do have a small computer over here. It's currently running Ubuntu and dual booting with Windows 10. And I never put it into Windows 10, and I'm thinking of just wiping the whole thing. So there's a question. Initially, I was thinking about putting Peppermint on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll try for Manjaro instead. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Let's see. That's pretty much a quick walkthrough. Actually, I think that was probably a not so quick walkthrough. I was, about 30 minutes. But hopefully I gave you a lot of tips and ideas about how you can customize customize your Manjaro desktop and give you a chance to have a quick look at it. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. Yeah, we went through the software, we went through how to customize it, where the windows are, stuff like that. So that, kind of in a nutshell, is Manjaro. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put this on my main computer over here for a few weeks and see how it works as a media center. I did not see the options when I installed it to run the MP3s, so I'm not sure how well it would run. It will run anything. Let's just do that real quick. Let's go into YouTube and see if it can handle YouTube. It's giving me Yahoo default search. Ugh. I hope my computer wasn't just hacked. Oh, yeah, I went there. There you go. A cat and a cucumber. There's a video we'll look at. Okay. So it seems to be playing YouTube okay. Whether it would play various media files or not, I don't know. I have not tested that. So maybe that's the next thing I do is install this onto a flash drive on this main media computer and see how Manjaro works for me for a little bit. Overall impressions, looks very stable, looks very nice and clean. I'm not a huge fan of the XFCE desktop, but that's just more of a personal preference. Although it can be set up exactly the way I like my computers set up, I just really still like the Cinnamon. I've been liking the KDE model as well. As you can tell behind me, the monitor did go off, and I thought caffeine was activated. However, I think that I think something got reset. I pushed some major updates through, but I haven't restarted the system since then. So maybe maybe that's why caffeine didn't trigger. But anyway, I've really been liking the KDE system. I've been liking the Cinnamon system. XFCE, I like it for some systems. Like I said, I was thinking about putting Peppermint on that micro PC I have, which would be, also XFCE. So be running the same desktop environment. The question is, what do I want is the backend package manager. Let me know what you think. I appreciate hearing from everybody, and we're coming up, as I'm doing this video, we're coming up on 50 subscribers. I'd like to see that number go way up, obviously, and I'm always looking to make some better videos, and always, as you can see here, trying to increase the video qualities. Next thing I'm going to be trying to do is pretty soon trying to be getting a better mic so we can have a lot better audio as I do these. But anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Tom, and you have been watching Switched to Linux.